there everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to my One Stamp 3 Ways featuring the February release from Stamp Anything. This release, I believe it's called My Heart Will Go On, but it's themed around the movie The Titanic. And oh my gosh, is it epic. This is so epic, it's beyond epic. Before we get into that though, this is going to be my last Stamp Anything project. At least for a while. I don't know if I'll come back to the design team at the end of the year. I've mentioned before, and you guys probably know, that I will be having surgery at the end of May, which will be here before we know it. So I really want to take the time to try to get some pre-filming done and just not have to worry about other obligations, other than just me trying to get stuff done for this channel. So yeah, I'm gonna miss it. You guys know I love Stamp Anything. I've been with them now for several years, and I'm not saying that I'll never go back to being on their design team, but right now my main focus is this surgery at the end of May, and then we'll deal with recovery when we get there. So yeah, anyway, I hope you love today's video and Wednesday's video. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Also check out my newsletter. I have a huge announcement coming in the next couple of weeks, and I would love to be able to share that news with you. You'll get a PDF that tells you what patterns to pair, how I pair patterns, etc. So it's free to join up. I'm not going to spam you because you will hardly ever hear from me. I don't like to write. But I really want to be able to share the news with you, and my videos don't always get pushed out to everyone. So if you want to stay in the loop, that is the way to do it. It's free, etc. It's down below. I will also list this month's release. However, if you're someone who loves these stamps and you want them every month, you need to sign up for Stamp Club, because that is the guaranteed way for you to get every month's release. But like last month was the Flintstones, and it sold out. The elves, like every month they have, even though they've upped production, they've sold out every month. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you take care of that. And that is also listed down below. Those links are affiliate links, so if you purchase from them, I earn a very small commission, and I thank you very much for doing it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to say hi in the comments for the engagement. Like the video, all of the doobly-doo. Let's head over to the craft table and we'll get started on today's project. All right, friends, we are starting with Jack's hair. Now, I didn't write the markers down, but I used E27, 25, 24. That whole little row of E's is what I use for his hairs. I'm not doing a whole lot of flicking. I am doing a little bit of flicking. So this, this project is meant to be humorous. And I hope you don't take offense, but this immediately popped up in my head. So for those of you who've seen the movie, like when it very first came out, what it was at 1997, I think I just graduated high school. One of the big, I don't want to say complaints, but one of the things that people noticed or thought about the most was Rose had enough room for Jack on the door with her, and he didn't get up there with her for some reason. So that's been contentious debating online. So this idea popped in my head and I couldn't get it out. So I am using those exact same colors to color his pants and his suspenders. And then I'm going to bring in E21 to color his shirt. I'm not doing a whole lot of shading, because there's not a whole lot there to shade. But yeah, so all of the same browns on his pants, and then I believe it's E21 and probably E50 for the shirt. For his skin, I'm using B02, B01, B000, and possibly B000. You guys, this just popped in my head and I had to do it. So I am coloring him blue because he's blue at the end of the movie when she has to let him go. And again, I just thought this was so funny. I made up my own sentiment and all of it. I'm coloring him the exact same way I would if I were using regular skin tone, except that again, I'm using blue. Now I didn't add any flush because he wouldn't be flush because he would be gone. So I didn't bother with that, but I still wanted to add a little bit of shading, contouring, etc. on his face. And I also remembered to color his hand blue as well. So I'm gonna bring in the door die that went along with the Monsters release last year. Again, I will, if it's available, I will have everything listed down below for you. And I'm bringing in a piece of brown cardstock, and I'm gonna cut that out, and then I'm gonna cut him out, and then we'll work on the card base. So again, this card just looked like, this idea popped in my head the minute I saw this stamp set, and I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to get it out of my head. And again, I hope you guys don't, I hope you find it as funny as I do. Oh my word. So I'm using some washi tape to hold down the dies. Again, if you want everything, I would sign up for Stamp Club. You can cancel at any time, but you get a discount. You get several things. You get discounts, you get free images. Again, I'll have the information linked down below so you guys can check it out. Also, you guys will have to give me some feedback on the lighting. I got new lights, and I don't know that I love it, but I feel like it's a little bit brighter than what we were before. Okay, I'm going to bring in the I believe it's rough C stencil, and a piece of white. This measures 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I am going to go ahead and ink that up using tumbled glass. Yeah, tumbled glass. And I am just using the blender brush to get that done. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm actually making a shaker card, so this isn't even going to be seen much, but I did want it there. Now, I didn't want all of the white, so I'm bringing in broken china to go around the edges and add a little bit of shading in the middle. And this is kind of where my idea is taking us for this card. Ay, 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 it's so cute. All right, I am doing my 5-minute shaker card here. This is a clear envelope that measures for A2 size. I put down a piece of score tape, tearing tape, etc. right along the edge, and that's created a shaker parklet for us. I'm using white and then 2 different shades of blue for 3 different shades of blue for sequencing, and then some blue seed beads for our little shaker bits. Once I get them in there and I know that it's enough, I'm going to peel off the layer covering the adhesive, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this adhered to a card. Now I'm going to bring in my special sentiment. It says, "Unlike Rose's door, my heart has plenty of room for you." And I typed it out in 2 different ways. I have it as a long strip, and then I have it where it could be cut out with like a square die, or cut out with rectangles, or you know what I mean. So I cut out one of each so I could play with it to see what it looked like on the front of the card. Speaking of, I'm going to use tearing tape on the back of this to adhere it to a card base. I mentioned before that I like these folded, I think they call them tent folded note cards on Amazon, and I love them because all you have to do is score them and then they're ready to go. So I'm going to get that adhered. This will take up the entirety of the front of the card because it measured 4 1/4 by 5.5. So here you can see I'm trying to figure out where I want the sentiment, or which sentiment I want to use. And I decide on the one with that is in a line. So I'm using more of that tearing tape. I'm going to adhere the door and jack with this. You guys know my aversion to liquid adhesive when I'm making shaker cards. So I just prefer this tearing tape. You could possibly get away with it if you have a pretty strong tape runner, but this score tape, tearing tape, etc., it's all the same, does a really good job. So I brought in my white gel pen because I did go out of the lines in a couple of places, and then I went ahead and brought in a couple of foam squares to put on either end because the middle part is going to go across him and the door, and I'll add some tape runner to the middle. And once we get that on, we're done. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I would love to hear your thoughts about this card in the comments down below. I love you guys so much. I'll see you Wednesday for another video. Bye for now.